get started. So what to expect today, guys? We're gonna go through kind of the state of the mountain, we call it, where we go through like everything with the company. It's gonna be a good time for you guys to understand. Everybody has different roles, but I think hopefully you guys will enjoy the perspective of seeing everything that's going on, because I know, and it's chaotic at times and we're always moving, but at least you guys can hopefully after today know a little bit more about what's going on. I know this is Joe's third base camp, right? And Clint's fourth base camp. So, and I know Monica's been here, I think, for all four as well, right, Monica? Did you tune into the first one? Right. Okay, cool. And I know several of the other guys have been here. This is Judith's third one. So anyway, so we'll do State of the Mountain, then we'll cover the Vivid Vision, which we'll touch on the Hawaii thing. Yeah, and then we'll kind of break out at that point, and then we'll let the virtual guys go. You guys can go back to your day. I would say this will take around an hour, and then you can go back to your day, and then we're gonna be working as a Revive team the rest of the day. And then we were just talking, probably gonna do dinner tonight, and we'll let any of your guys' other crew guys, we'll invite them to dinner tonight. So anyway, I guess I should be looking over here. It's just you guys that came. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, sounds good. All right, well, let's get rolling. Okay, so this is the deal flow, right? So you guys, I'll go back and forth between, so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay. And again, yeah, Clint will let us know if anybody has any questions. So we're gonna kind of break down the company. So it all starts, fundamentally, everything starts with Wyohouses. Everything starts with finding a deal. And just in general, as a real estate investor, you gotta, if you can fundamentally, first thing, go find good deals. They always say you make your money when you buy, right? And that's a big part of what our Wyohouses team does. And I know nobody in this room is, well, you guys help when we're identifying deals, but on the front end, this is what we're doing. So these are some highlights that we've done so far this year in yellow. So we got 40 different deals under contract. And a lot of those we've already bought and sold, but total deals, we've done 40 this year to date. Just to let you guys know the volume that we're trying to do and maybe what I'm doing during the week and what the sales team is. Actually, I'll go around the horn a little bit here because I wanted to involve the sales team. So talking KPI, what's your, let's go with Mike. Mike, what is your kind of goal every week? What's the kind of number you try to do every week, Mike?
So basically what I try to do is I try to book 5 appointments with their act managers. At the same time, I try to keep up with cold calling leads because those are booked separately on your calendar. And moving forward, we are working with AI cold calling. So my goal is to get at least 3 leads from that per day as well. And at the same time, we are managing SMS channels as well. And from there, at our top with fresh list, we have gone as high as 5 appointments per day as well.
Perfect, good, nailed it, Mike. Cool, because eventually we're gonna get down to my 20, because my number is 20 appointments per week. So, but I did want to start there because I wanted you guys to see and this is 20 new sellers. Every week, I'm talking across Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota now, I'm talking to 20 new different people. So, but how do I do that? That's not me, this is because of this team. So go ahead, so then it goes from Mike to go ahead, Sam. Sam, what's your number? What is your goal every week in terms of numbers? Or per day, what's your goal?
I always try to hit 30 appointments per week for you and Judith.
Cool. So he's trying to book 30 appointments from all the leads that Mike's giving him, right? And then Judith, what's your kind of numbers? I know you've evolved quite a bit, but go ahead.
I really just work a lot with Casey and take some of the appointments that Sam and Mike book. And then our goal is to get 2 contracts per week signed.
Yep. Yeah, perfect. Okay, good. And then we'll go more into dispo stuff later. But again, so you can go back to the slide here now, so you see, I'm trying to talk for 20 appointments per week. Our goal is to do 100 contracts this year. So we've done 40, we're going for 100. The bigger goal though is revenue goal. So I know we're a little bit behind on contracts, but the good news is we found some really good deals this year. So we're tracking for our revenue goal, which I'll show you guys in a second. We're spending, you can see here, just to give you guys a feel for it, we spend $40,000 to $50,000 a month on marketing, from paying the team to be calling people to direct mail and postcards, to Facebook ads, to Google ads, across the board. What else am I forgetting? SEO. We have another full, another team that's not here today, but they're a third party, is the Roar Media team. We have a full, he's like a CMO, they're our chief marketing officer. So anyway, just the point is it's expensive. We're spending a bunch of money to get these leads and do that, right? And then I added this to kind of a highlight. So we added 17 new counties in 3 states in Q1. So we started to really expand because again, we wanted to get more lead flow. Wyoming's only so big, right? So that's why we expanded and we did Rapid City, right? Joe went out there. We've also been expanding across Montana. So, okay, so marketing in the second half of the year in 2025. So our goal is to really harvest a lot of the stuff in our pipeline because again, the way our cycle works, guys, is we do a ton of marketing. The marketing really starts in January, February, March. We get a ton of leads, but in Wyoming, and especially, and just in general up north, is not everybody's ready to sell. All of a sudden, that's why it gets so chaotic in the summer, because now all these people we've been talking to since January, February, now they all want to sell at once, right? Because the weather's warmer, they're ready to move, they're ready to actually like take some action. So then everybody all of a sudden wants to sell, and then we're trying, the guys that we're trying to buy from want to sell, and then we're also trying to go sell ourselves, like flip deals and sell them to somebody else. So that's why summer is always chaotic. It's been like that for 3 or 4 years now. So anyway, it's just a natural season, right? But then as we go into, once we get out of summer, the market's a little less hot, right? It's harder to sell properties, less people are buying, right? So that's where we're gonna really harvest our current pipeline. And then another thing I mentioned is we're rolling out AI cold calling. So that's, Mike touched on that. This is a pretty cool thing where we have literally AI is making our cold calls. So it's gonna help cut costs down, and it's pretty crazy. And obviously the AI can call like 100, I mean, there's not a limit of how many people it can call at once, right? I mean, we can make, what is it, 10, how many calls do we get a month, Mike?
22,000 minutes.
22,000 minutes? Or is it minutes or calls?
Yes. Yeah, 22,000 calls.
Yeah, 22,000 calls. So we get to make 22,000 calls in a month, right? But it all goes through AI. The AI literally has a conversation with somebody, like a cold call, which is, again, and it's, say what you want about cold calling, but that's a great lead source for us to find people. It's all about, again, the end goal is we're trying to get to these 100 contract, or 20 to 30 appointments a week, 100 contracts, but that it's like a funnel, right? We've got to get so many leads, so many people to talk to, and then we funnel them down to where who's actually motivated and who actually wants to sell their house, right? So that's how we find deals. I don't know if you guys wanted that deep dive, but that's it, right? Okay, now let's talk about Revive. So I highlighted what we've done a year to date. So 28 flips, so I went and counted it last night, of either flips or value add properties completed or in progress that we've done this year. So that's awesome, guys. In 6 months, 28 flips, almost 5 per month. I kind of put some new highlights in here. Again, we're looking at new construction. We've actually got one in Sheridan, and we're looking at that statewide. We want to do that in Laramie. I know we'd like to do it in Casper as well. So that's one that's kind of like a future one we're looking into. Manufactured housing, we're going to talk more about this later this afternoon. I know Joe is currently looking at that into a lot in Sheridan. We're going to look at that. And then the mobile home park, we're doing that in at the Peterson portfolio. We're still kind of looking at and analyzing what we want to do there. But anyway, these are kind of some new strategies and really the direction we're going, right, as a company for Revive. Okay, Bighorn Capital Fund. So many of you guys might not know this. This was a big change in 2024. The journey started a year ago when I was first looking at how to raise more capital at scale. So if you guys I don't know how much you guys care about how do I fund and find deals. Initially, I would use small banks, and that's who funded a lot of deals. And then I'd work with private money lenders. So I'd work with people in my network or oil and gas people. And I would combine their money with the bank's money to continue to fund and buy these deals. But now to really scale that, we're using a fund. So the difference between that and a fund is now a fund, I could basically bring a bunch of people in at a certain amount. It's not like a stock, but in a way I can compare it to a stock, right? They're buying shares of this fund, right? They're buying shares of a certain portfolio of property. So that way I can continue to raise money at scale. This is how we raise money for Lilac Way, right? We raised about $1.7 million for people to come in and help fund the rehab, right? But instead of me going finding one guy that has $1.7 million, I go and find a bunch of guys that have 50,000 and 100,000 to invest. So that's what I spent a lot of time doing this, and this is our vehicle for doing this. So there's gonna be a lot of growth. Alyssa's done a really good job helping me roll this out, but this is really, guys, this is what really allows us to scale up and keep growing. And that was kind of a highlight, is in Q2, we raised $2 million in private money to continue, again, to do projects like Lilac Way, to continue to do more fix and flips. So that's Bighorn Capital Fund. Property management. So I wanted to highlight this one. Right now, we have 39 units under contract in Green River. So if those ones close, we'll be up to 250 units across the portfolio. So that's a significant jump from last year. When we added Hillside Casper last year, that pushed us to about 140. And now we've gone up to 250 with a lot of these multifamilies. So you can kind of see the breakdown of some of these bigger ones that the PM property management team, because I really wanted to highlight multifamily success. I think that's been one of the highlights for the team. The property managers did a phenomenal job at Hillside Casper. We got really good at the eviction process. I don't know if you guys know this, maybe Travis does. We probably had around 40 to 45 tenants in that building. We dropped it down to 20 to actually get rid of the people who weren't paying and were being difficult, right? And that meant we went through 20 different evictions. So team got really good at that, and they got good at managing this, and now their big goal is to fill this thing up this summer. And then they'll be doing the same thing at Lilac Way. So you can see 63 units there, 45 units here in Evanston. I'm looking at 39 units. Me and Clint looked at it yesterday. We're looking at that by the end of the month. In Laramie, in the Peterson portfolio, if you count all the trailers plus, I mean, that one's probably gonna grow higher than 20 units just based on trailers and everything. So lots of different projects and one of the highlights of property management team. The other thing is furnished rentals, right? We started talking about this like 2 or 3 years ago, doing more short-term rentals. And I don't know, sometimes I go back and forth. I'm like, man, are we doing too many different things? Which we probably are, but there's so much value here, guys, especially when you're looking at, like, even as I'm looking at these things in Green River, in Rock Springs, in Evanston, there's just not enough in Wyoming. There's not enough hotels. Like you guys see it right now, right? There's not enough places to stay. So providing this furnished housing, it's really differentiating us when I go to buy a multifamily. For example, Hillside Casper, we're gonna do at least 6 of those units are gonna be furnished rentals. And that helps me, it's a really cool strategy. I don't know if you guys heard me talk about it, but a normal multifamily, there's a cap of how much you can really get in rent, right? And then your value of your property is based on how much you get in rent. It's not as much based on like what the neighbor's house is worth, it's how much income does the property produce. So when we go and we bring in these short-term rentals, as you guys know, you probably get like double the rent on a short-term rental. So if we bring in 6 of them, we double the rents on that, and it increases the value. So it's just gonna allow us to do more and more projects, and yeah, it's a game changer, really. And big shout out to Monica. Monica's done a great job with bringing on 2 units, and I kind of highlighted. So 6 units in Hillside, the 2 units on Fenway. Evanston, we're gonna do 3 to 5 units. Green River's to TBD. Billings, the 2 units. Laramie 621 and Blazing Star. And then we've got 2 in Houston, 2 different short-term rentals. And those are the only properties, FYI, that we have in Houston. So, or in Texas, outside of this area. But anyway, big shout out to Monica. Monica's spent a ton of time on this, as well as helping the property management team, but really growing short-term rentals. And I think we'll plan to, that's kind of the growth I put up there highlighted in yellow is we have 10 units online right now, and we're planning to bring on 10 more. Okay, the branding. So this is, if you guys wonder other things that I kind of spend more time on, I can explain them a little bit more now and ask questions too if you guys want. So the first one here, problems to profits. That's a Zoom that we started just last week. So we're doing our 2nd episode tomorrow. If you guys have seen Pace Morby, I think he's one of the best, most influential real estate guys across the country right now. So he has his community is called Sub 2. And so I've been part of that community for almost 2 years. And he gave me the opportunity to go actually lead a Zoom every Friday now with his students. So last Friday we did our first one. We had 60 different students from across the country tuning in. And the goal of this Zoom call, I'll tell you how it started. So again, I told you guys, I'm talking to 20 to 30 new people, new sellers every week, right? And so I was like, man, I should just record these calls, or I should could be an opportunity to help more people. And there's a lot of other residual benefits I'll tell you guys about from that. But anyway, so I went to Pace and I'm like, hey Pace, I'm talking to all these sellers. I would love to record these or be able to help you help the students of Sub 2. So he's like, yeah, why don't you do a Zoom? So now we call it Problems to Profits, where I have all the students, he's got several, I don't know if it's 5,000 to 10,000 students across the country that are all doing creative finance. Creative finance, if you guys don't know, that's like you probably see how I buy stuff like, yeah, you guys know creative finance, right? So a lot of the like Peterson portfolio, that guy owned the property free and clear. So we gave him a down payment and then he lended the rest on it, right? Peterson portfolio, we had the seller financed the first part and then I used the fund to buy the rest. You guys have seen a lot of other ones where it gets a little bit hairy, like, oh, Dakota's not here, but I'm trying to think of, or like Musser Road, right? There's a lot of deals where we'll actually have the seller will lend us the money, or we'll set up a loan. We'll buy the property, they'll give us a loan on what we owe them, and then we'll go flip the property, right? So it just allows us to where, this is what's made us really competitive despite rates. So when interest rates went way up, a lot of investors stopped, right? People stopped buying, people stopped investing, like the big hedge funds, the big investors stopped because they're like, we can no longer afford deals. Because if you were borrowing at the bank at 3% and now you're at 7, 8, 9, 10%, it just kills a ton of deals, right? What's allowed us to keep going and growing is creative finance. I've learned to structure deals creatively. So that's why there's a ton of deals where, I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of the stuff I buy, I might just take over their loan. I'm trying to think for some examples. Like you saw Mahogany. Mahogany is one of the first ones I did in Gillette. I took over that loan. Her payment was like $500 a month. She had like a 3% loan or 2.75% loan. The payment on that house was $500. But again, through our marketing and finding these deals and negotiating, I was able to buy that rental and we got it and our payment's $500 and we turn around and rent it for $1,300 a month. So that's like kind of the power of creative finance, right? And then the beauty of what I have now, guys, and this is cool for you guys to see this. So when I talk to a seller, I give them always 2 options. So we got one in Sheridan right now on Montana, on 175 West Montana. I think we're just gonna wholesale it. But I gave that guy, he wanted, we'll say whatever his price was. I always give them a cash offer, which is about 50% of what the house is worth. And then, but so I don't get hung up on and screamed at when they're like, why are you lowballing me? I always say, hey, my offer, for example, the one in Sheridan, I offered him $175,000 cash. And I'm like, I could do that. Or I could take over your loan. We could close, I'll take over your loan. I'll go fix this house up because I have a crew. And this is what I wanted to highlight is because I have a crew in all these different areas, I always tell them, I'm like, if you could wait 60 to 90 days to get your money, I could probably pay you 20, 30, 40, 50,000 more money in their pocket, right? Because what I say is my crew can get over there, Nebraska, that's the example, right? I told Nebraska, I'm like, if you give me 60 days, my crew is gonna move over there. They're gonna get this done in 2 weeks. And then we can go sell this house for top dollar on the market. And then I can pay you top dollar. You know what I mean? So I always give people two options, the cash offer, and sometimes, like the one in Sheridan, sometimes the guy takes the cash offer. I'm like, holy cow, I can't believe he took that offer because it was super low. Like that one, we're just gonna turn around and resell it. JR is actually gonna buy it, I think. So really easy. So if we had a bunch of those ones, it'd be great, right? But more times than not, I would say 75% of the time, people are like, yeah, I can wait. I don't need all the money right away. I can wait 60 days. And but no one can do that. Only our company can do that because we have so many crews and we can go direct to seller and we have crews. Anyway, I'm just highlighting that, guys, because it's been a big realization I've had when I talk in other masterminds or I'm talking with other investors. Not many people can do this because if they do that, because the big sell is like, I can do it fast. My guys can start like next week and then we can get this thing flipped, right? No one else, if you're working with a GC or on somebody else's schedule, good luck, especially in Wyoming, right? With how busy people are. So that's been a big differentiator and I wanted to highlight it for the Revive crew. It's really cool. So anyway, and I know you guys all heard that with the virtual team, but just so you guys know too, that just helps us, it helps us close so many more deals than what the average wholesaler. I mean, most wholesalers, all they do is they give them that cash offer and they make a lot of people mad, but every once in a while somebody takes it. But then they go spend a bunch of money on marketing. Like this is what makes me feel confident to go spend $40,000 to $50,000 a month on marketing because I can make cash offers, or if they don't take that, I can still go make money on these ones. Make sense? Cool. So anyway, that was a big, completely rabbit hole there with problems to profits. But the other cool thing about problems to profits now is now I have students bringing their deals, because with the intent of this weekly webinar is students across the country are going to bring deals to me and they're going to be like, hey, Casey, I can't close this. I can't figure it out. I got a problem. I'm stuck here. And I'm going to help them solve the problems. But the other cool thing is like, we're going to have to JV and basically they're going to bring me the leads now. So I don't have to pay for the leads, right? And I'm going to help close them. And then I'm going to help them start calling some of our other lists to help us generate more deals, right? So it's going to be a really cool thing, give us a lot of exposure. But anyway, so it's all about, this is all related to the branding and a big focus of mine, right? And it helps me to raise money, helps me to get more deals, helps me to sell deals, right? The more people I know, it just helps build up our buyers list. Right. Rigs to Riches, real quick, I won't go too deep here. This is going to be our podcast. I've had my podcast for about a year, but we're rebranding it and I'm really leaning into oil and gas people, right? As you guys know, that's my background. Those have always been the best, or not the best and the easiest people to raise money from because I can relate to them and I speak their language, right? So we're revamping the podcast and I think that's really going to help that's really going to help Bighorn Capital really grow because we're going to be able to bring a lot of people. And also it's going to bring us more buyers, right? To where we could fix up, for example, Elias, right? Like eventually I want to have a great network of investors where, hey, I'll just sell you Elias. We're going to go fix up the 2 units and we're going to rent them out and it's going to cash flow and we're going to finance the property for you. And the last thing is, one of my big goals kind of going over the next couple of years, part of this community with Pace Morbian that we're creating like our Mount Everest goal. My goal is to help 100 different people achieve financial freedom through passive income, right? So I want to help 100 different people achieve their goals. So, and obviously the way I'm going to be able to help them is they can invest in some of our deals. They could go buy a property like Elias. But my goal is to help these people, show them how to use banks, how to use their lines of credit, how to use their home equity line of credit, how to use their 401k to self-direct. There's all these different ways they can invest in real estate. So my goal is to help those people, which will organically, that helps them, right? I really enjoy helping people in that way. And then it's also going to help our company a ton, right? Because it's going to bring in a lot of capital and a lot of buyers. Okay. All right. AI integration. We talked a little bit about this. I already talked about the cold calling, but I just wanted to highlight this. You guys, not as relevant to you, but I told this to our virtual team. guys, this is not meant to come and replace you. This will replace some of our vendors. But the goal is I want everyone on our team to understand AI and apply AI, because AI is going to basically, it's the way we're going to all be able to clone ourselves and do more, right? And we're always putting more and more on your guys' plate, but that's why we want you guys to understand AI. You guys won't be doing a whole lot because we don't have any AI robots building houses or renovating. But on the virtual side, this is going to be a huge part of the company. And I invest in a lot of different masterminds and surround myself with people who are at the cutting edge of this, because if you don't get on board with AI, it's coming, right? And so our goal is to be ahead of it and be able to continue to grow with it, because the companies who don't get on board with it are probably going to get left and not make it. So I'm excited to be ahead of the curve there. Okay, so let's talk about our growth and our revenue. So this year we have, I keep track of this like every week. Every time we get a new deal, we close the deal, or I get a new deal under contract, I project how much money we think we'll make it. And that's based on your guys' scopes, right? You guys go through a scope. So if I get a property, I'll use 1137 Main Street, right? When we got that, I knew how much I bought it for. I knew how much Joe gave me a scope for, and I know how much I think we'll sell it for. So that helps me to go estimate how much revenue do we have on the board right now. I just have this spreadsheet where I keep track of how much money do we have on the board, because ultimately our goal is to hit 2 million in profit. But right now this number is 1.96 million. That's in revenue, right? So that's total revenue. That doesn't include all of that $50,000 a month in marketing, all the overhead that we have, right? The trucks, all the different equipment things we have. But so we need to hit around 3 million to basically hit our goal of 2 million of profit. But I also wanted to highlight this, right guys? I was counting up all the people we have in our team now, 43 different people, which is pretty exciting, right? Well, I don't know if it's exciting or terrifying, but I'm excited because this is how we grow, right? This is what's allowing us to cover the entire state and other states. But 9, like Travis's crew, we counted them up, there's like 9 different people helping in Casper. 8 different ones, including Joe and Sheridan. In Laramie, we've got 4, sometimes more, right? But roughly 4 guys, right? Guys and girls. Sales team, we got 5 different people on our sales team. You guys met a lot of them earlier. On the marketing side, you guys met Giselle. There's 4 other people that aren't on the call today. The property management team and SDR, there's 4 different people there. And then we got Clint and then Henry. Henry is admin, right? So I just wanted to show you all that. So I wanted to show you how we've evolved, guys, right? So this was 2020. So this was our first base camp, right? So 4 years ago, this was us in Laramie. It was me and a couple interns and a general contractor. As we kind of grew, let's skip ahead to like 2022, we started to build out our company. But a lot of these people don't have names. This was my vision of like, here's all the roles I want to have in my company, and this is what it looks like. But again, all these green boxes are Casey, right? A couple other ones we brought in like Monica. This was back when Luis was here like 2 years ago in Laramie. We didn't have anything in Sheridan. That year was Joe's first base camp, but this was January, right? Then in July, this was when we kind of updated the org chart. And you can, again, this side you can see Wyohouses. All this is how we're finding all the deals. Gregerson Properties was how we're managing like property management, right? And then I think Revive was in the middle. I'm gonna keep going here. But one big step is I set a goal. This has been a huge like kind of personal one for me, guys. This was in, as of September 30th, 2022, I was in both. So this is me as a CEO and this is a COO role. I was doing it. I was managing operations. I was managing all the contractors, doing all the operations, managing the property managers. But the big step I wanted to do was, and I just remember thinking about, well, A is like, how do I find somebody to be a COO and how do I get there? So a big goal of mine was to get to this seat by 2023, right? To where I could be now only being a visionary and have a COO to do this. So anyway, I'm excited. That's where Clint's really came in to hit his role and done an awesome job over the last, over a year now. But it's been, guys, this has allowed me to do so much more. And you guys are working and interfacing with Clint and doing your budgets. I was telling Clint last night, that's definitely not like what I've learned from my mentors is like, you got to do what you're best at and what gives you energy, right? And going through a detailed scope and looking at all the numbers and what you guys do with Clint as far as getting all the details, it has to be done, right? There's no way around it. It's not my favorite thing to do. So I'm just so thankful that I have Clint and you guys to run through that. And then I can just look at it as a whole and I can look at, okay, here's the number, what it's going to cost. Here's your options, Casey, and make a decision, right? That helps me tremendously, right? So anyway, it's been a big shift. And the reason we've been able to grow to where we're at now is because I can be up here and be the visionary, right? So let me fast forward to the current org chart. So this is where the team looks at today, because I want to show you guys this. This is kind of the last part we get before we get to the vivid vision. But I want to show you guys how everything works together, because I think that's my next slide, is how the different companies. So I'm going to kind of explain here. So again, you see me at the top, CEO, Clint as COO, right? So now we get into, Clint is also the project manager, right? So we kind of look in that, and then you can see the different areas, right? So you can see south with Edward, you can see central with Travis, you can see north with Joe, right? We haven't updated this since we kind of had.
This was from basically January 1.
Yeah, so this was from January. So we haven't updated this with, now we got another mobile crew with Hector, which has been a huge game changer. And then you see the content team, right? So down here, this is the people who do, the content team is like all about the brand. We talked a lot about the brand earlier, right? You see all the different, you see Giselle down there, you see Vanessa, Alejandra, Eduardo, right? So now the sales team over here, right? So I'm still the sales director. I still sit in that seat. I still close a lot of deals, but our lead manager, again, this was Judith Allen. You guys met Judith, right? She's on the call. So Judith was a lead manager when she first started. She's really grown and she's continued to where now we're really starting to put Sam into the lead manager role. And Judith is helping me more and more with acquisitions, which again, gives me more time to go back and raise money and grow the company. So, but I'm still ultimately over the sales role, but Judith has been tremendous in helping me to where she can start to help me close deals. So one good way to delegate is we call it like the 10-80-10 rule. So I start with the first 10%, I give the intent, and then Judith goes and does the other 80, and then I come back in to close the last 10. So if you're looking at a job, I only have to spend 20% of my time on that. Judith does the other 80%. So me and Judith have been really in sync, and she's done a great job with me to allowing me to do more and still close the same amount of deals. So definitely big shout out to Judith. And then you can kind of see down the road. So we don't have Sam on here, but we have Sam, and then you guys met Mike, and then the texters, right? So that again is the sales team. The far other side is Monica. To give you guys, again, we met everybody at the beginning, but to understand roles, here's Monica at the top. She's more of our office manager, managing both long-term and short terms. Then we also have Hugo. You guys met Hugo earlier. He's one of the property managers. You guys probably all know Hugo, and then Naveed. And then, and then we've got some admin VAs. That's where Henry pops in. He's one of our admin VAs. So anything I'm missing here, Clint?
Yeah. I don't know if you went over a list at the top there, the executive assistant, but
yes.
The new org chart that we got for the rest of the year is updated everybody.
Yep. Yeah. So I pulled an older one. Yep. So that's the other one would be Alyssa would kind of fit up. And if everybody could, I don't know if you guys could see my screen, but Alyssa kind of fits up kind of up here beside me, right? And she's also helping with Dispo. And she helps a lot on the sales team. And then Mia. We didn't talk about Mia, but Mia's, so again, yeah, I didn't introduce Mia a ton. But if you think about the sales team, they're all about like getting contracts, right? But the point of when we get a contract signed, that's when Judith and me hand it off to Mia and Alyssa. And Mia is our TC, our transaction coordinator. She's the one that makes sure we get closed, make sure we have all the documents, make sure we're communicating like showings and everything with the sellers, and ultimately finding the end buyer if we're gonna wholesale it. But as you guys know, a lot of them we just keep, right? So she's interfacing with and helping with all that. Okay. I kind of highlighted how they all work together. So I wanted to kind of highlight a couple different things, how we continue to win, right? So Wyohouses wins by finding off-market deals, finding value adds, and just not moving the needle. And it is so frustrating. But it's also refreshing to be like, all right, well, at least I don't have to do that on all this stuff because of you guys. So pretty cool. Core markets, you guys can see everything we're at. So really we have 7 core ones, from Billings up in Montana, down to Sheridan, down to Casper. We've always had Laramie and Cheyenne, have been steady eddies for a long time. We also got Evanston now on the other side of the state, Green River, Rock Springs, where we're at today. And then even Gillette, we're starting to expand more in Gillette and get more deals over there. And then yeah, we're really close on a contract in Great Falls. Pretty cool one where again, this was the anomaly where I get a call from a guy, I'm like, hey, do you need a bunch, like he owes like $260,000 on his house. I'm like, I can't give you much more than your loan. He's like, I don't care, man. I'm about to call the bank and tell them that I want to get for give them the keys and go for close on me. I'm like, no, don't do that. Like, we can help you. Let me help you. So anyway, that's gonna be our first one in Great Falls. It'll probably be, hopefully we'll just flip it quickly. But anyway, we did a cool one in Rapid City. That was awesome. Like that, Rapid City is another big success from this year that like, we've got a Novation one where you didn't have to go to that one. That's actually in Lead, South Dakota. But in Rapid City, we got in there. Joe's crew went out there for a week. We've got that one already assigned to another buyer. We do it's called a wrap, where he's on on lease to own. So he gives a down payment. He needs to go buy us out basically in 2 years. So it's a really cool one we did. So anyway, just wanted to show you all the new markets.
You're doing Jackson Holes right there to the left, right?
Yeah.
Jackson Hole, Du Bois, over, away on the street.
You want some more? You want some more projects there?
Stuff over there. Great Falls.
You're right.
Jackson Hole would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I've been doing Great Falls for a year.
Yeah. Oh man, Jackson. I got a call with, I have a call with a guy in Jackson tomorrow, but they just never work. Because it's like, good point. You know what? What does work is our revive method, where we can go in and we can make the repairs and get paid when it sells.
So if we have to go there and work in Jackson Hole, I could go fishing.
Okay.
And then in pretty places.
Yeah. We did have one in Pinedale a while back. Cool. All right. So now let's go. And we're going to segue into Vivid Vision, and then we're going to let the virtual team go. So give you guys a little bit more. Okay. So we set this Vivid Vision like 3 years ago, and our number one target is there at the bottom. It was to do $2 million in net profit in 12 months by the end of 2024. So we set that several years ago. I'll be honest with you guys, looking probably 18 months ago, looking at this, I'm like, we probably need to reset this goal because we're not even close, because we were, again, issues with contractors. That's probably one of the biggest ones. Like everything was over budget, over timeline, and the market was going nuts, right? Interest rates were skyrocketing. There was a lot of certainty in the market. So I'll be honest, I had my doubts there too. But I think the biggest thing of why I think we have a shot at this year has been you guys. I mean, it's the whole team, but one of the bigger differentiators is having in-house crews and the fact that we can do more volume. Like I learned a lot from 20 Musser Road because yeah, we might have, I think I need to look at the numbers. Let's say we made 50,000 profit as a company on that one. But that one took us, what, 6 months? I mean, from when you guys are out there? Okay, 3. I'm just trying to think but the whole cycle, right? You guys were probably there for 3, right? But
A little under.
yeah, but when I got that, from the time I got that under contract to the time I sold it in like October, because I didn't sell it till like October, right? So anyway, that was about a 6-month turnaround to make 50,000. Now, we're turning stuff around like Evanston, like 41 Incline. We made like $40,000 on that one in like a couple months, right? We've in these other ones that you guys are turning around. This one, again, you feel like it's been there for a while, and the one in Evanston on Main Street, but we're going to be able to turn that one around in 2 months and potentially make 50,000, right? But the one that Travis is doing right now in Casper is another 50. That one might be like potentially a $70,000 profit. But Travis is going to be in and out of there in 2 weeks. So what's allowing us to get to this number and achieve our exciting goal that I'm going to talk about is the fact that you guys could get in and go fast. Because it's all about, no one in Wyoming really can go fast. You guys get it, right? Everyone moves at a different speed, right? But when you're talking to a seller that needs money, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. When I can talk to them and say, hey, I can get you more money and I could pay more for this property than anyone else if you just give me the 60 days and then I can move my crew in. So anyway, that's been one of the biggest differentiators in helping us. I tell Clint this all the time, like being able to have you guys get in there quickly and get stuff done and be able to hit the budget and hit a timeline, and me to have the confidence, it just allows me to go do more deals. So it's pretty exciting. So again, our goal is to do $2 million in net profit by the end of the year. As I showed you, we're at like 1.96 in revenue. If we get that up to 3 million, I think we'll hit the 2 million in net profit. But I track this all the time. And what I'll try to do, if you guys want, is be more transparent and show you where we're at with this goal. Because my goal was, we talk about so I'm not gonna go too deep into the Vivid Vision today, but these are all the different ways we make money, right? We've talked about this before, but from the wholesaling to buying the property and selling it quickly to the fix and flipping, property management, all different ways we make money. And sorry, let me clarify. That 2 million is from all the companies, right? That's from fixing and flipping. That's from all the rental income at Hillside. That's from the rental income across the portfolio, right? That's from me going and wholesaling a deal in Sheridan to JR and making whatever, 20 or 30,000 on a wholesale, but not having to do any work, right? That's where all that money comes in to make this 2 million, right? This is kind of what sets us apart. And the best for last. So I always thought Joe's heard this one before, and I think Edward maybe, but we talk about the road to Hana, right? And I wanted to make this both a metaphor and something real. So if anybody's ever been to Hawaii or Maui, there's the road. Everybody who's heard of the road to Hana? You guys have heard it, you've heard me talk about it. So the road to Hana is like this little mountain road in Maui, Hawaii. And you go up to this little town and you get to the end, right? And it's this windy road, and everybody always jokes about like, you go through this windy road and people get there and they're like, so a good example is you take your kids on the road to Hana, right? And the kids get there and they get to this road and you spend all day driving through this little windy road and up this mountain. You get to this little town that's very anticlimactic. It's not exciting. You're like, and the kids are like, why did we drive all day for this crappy little town? It's like, no, the point is it's about the journey and the travel and getting to Hana, right? It's that road, that winding road, and seeing all the waterfalls and all the nature and just the travel experience to Hana. So for what does that mean to us? That's like our journey. We don't do enough of this, and hopefully tonight we can just be having fun as a team, but like enjoy the process, right? Enjoy, I know it can be stressful, for everybody. And if you guys have any feedback throughout the day to make it better, and this is for you guys on the virtual side. If there's things we can do to make this, I mean, I love when Mike cracks jokes in meetings and different stuff, but enjoy the process is the point. I really want you guys to enjoy how we get to our goal of 2 million. I don't want it to be going to 2 million and we just are miserable and then we get to go celebrate, but let's make it fun the whole way there because it's about the road to HANA. And then to make it actually real is if we can hit the goal of 2 million in net profit this year, then we're going to take the team to HANA and that's what I want to do is I want to go to Maui and do base camp in Hawaii. So, and we'd be taking the team there and doing this same meeting in Hawaii is my goal, right? So, but to get there, it's a very ambitious goal to hit 2 million in profit. But this year we're tracking to hit it. So any questions?
We'd be there.
You'd be there?
Well, bye.
Yes, there you go, exactly. Bring the kids and the families, absolutely. Okay, so that's,
You'll be hearing me yelling at all the kids.
yeah, that's a good point with Travis. Okay, so to wrap this up, but how to get there, right? So one of my goals, and Alyssa helps me a lot here, and all my content helps me, and when you guys are doing before and after pictures and helping upload them to where we can create more buzz and create more around our brand, I got to raise about another $2 million in private money in the next 3 months again, that's going to help us buy Green River. That's going to help us continue to fund more deals, right? And the other thing is Revive and Wyohouses driving another $1 million in revenue. Because I showed you guys, we're right around 2 million total. We got to get to 3 million in revenue to hit that $2 million net profit. So that's our big goal is to get to 2 million. And I think we probably just need to, would you guys like that and appreciate that more to have more visuals on how are we tracking? So you guys can see how we're tracking to get to 3 million. I know you've probably never heard about where we're at until today. Am I right? Would you guys like that? I know Joe's asked for it before to say, hey, how much money did we make on this?
Yeah, it'd be nice to know, so it just helps in the long run.
Yeah.
Makes you feel good if you're actually hitting your goals and where you're trying to make money and we're trying to do the same.
Yep. Cool, man. Yeah, it's a scoreboard, right? We need to be better. Again, this has been on our list for a while, but like you gamify things, right? Having a scoreboard, everybody likes a scoreboard to know where they're at and where they're going.
I think for us, the scoreboard more is like per project. So if like we hear like, oh, we bought this house for this, here's what like peak market value we can get out of it. It gives us a better idea. Like how can we make the most amount of money on that possible if we understand those numbers?
Good point.
Versus walking into like a remodel, like we could go all out, we could do a tiny bit, like those numbers I think gives us direction for what kind of remodel we're doing.
That's a good point. Knowing that in mind. Yeah. We'll write that down, Clint. We could definitely be better to get you guys that so you guys see it. And then you can, and yeah, I do want to find a way, Clint, to track it and give you guys some visuals on where we're heading. Because I know everybody wants to get to the goal. Yeah, I think that's it. So any questions on the, I'll open it up for questions before we let the virtual team go. You guys have any questions? Across the world?
I'm good.
Cool. I didn't talk a ton on property management, but you guys have a huge role in this too to sustainability, right? We're growing, but we can't grow too big and then go lose our property management reputation. And I know we've been teetering on that line for a while. So I just hope you guys know you guys are a huge part of what we do. Being able to keep our tenants happy and interface. And we're going to do some breakouts this afternoon with the property management team and kind of talk about that because that's always a tug and pull, right? I'll say that right now because we're talking about revenue and driving revenue. Like it's always going to be a challenge when we could go make $50,000 on a flip and try to hit that goal versus we got to go over and repair. We got to take care of our tenants and repair things. Every single one of you guys deal with that, right? From Edward to Travis to Joe and to Hector. I mean,
problematic tenants that won't let you in when you get in.
Yeah. Oh, that's another. Yeah, good point. Yeah. We'll bring that one up too. But anyway, so it's a balance, right? We're going to continue to find that balance. But anyway, I recognize too, property management team, you guys do a great job. That it's not easy because sometimes the priority is the $50,000 flip and not the $100 service order. But anyway, but hang in there. Hey, was somebody else going to say something? Maybe.
Nope, I'm good on my side.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll let the virtual team go. Clint, what time? You know what? We'll send you guys a message on Voxer when to expect.
Our managers are staying on. We'll write in the meetings.
Okay.
So they can leave.
Okay, cool. We're going to keep property management on. All right, sales team, everybody's good except for property managers. Thanks, guys.
See you
Thanks for
guys.
tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Guys.
Nice.
Hi.